So the ISKA, right?
I got invited to the ISKA
Right.
event for three-directional wood, which is
Now you can get there typically by winning the U.S. Open, you said, but you have an invitation to the ISKA. But I was asking you because, like, how does that work? Say you were to go to the U.S. Open and you were to falter, right? Then what happens?
I'm already invited to the ISK.
Doesn't matter.
No, I'm already for one event. There's 4 or 5 events, and one of them is three-directional wood. Boom! You ever see me go boom, boom, and then boom?
Three-directional wood? No, I know the
Three-directional wood.
downstrike. I don't know about the other stuff, though.
I could show you.
I'm sure you could. I'm sure you'd like to.
Could I share on this?
I don't know. You tell me what options you got over there. I don't know.
I do have share. Let me see.
Yeah, you can play around with it. So it
Let me
doesn't
see.
matter. It doesn't really matter how you would perform at the U.S. Open. You still go to the ISKA competition too.
International Sports Karate Association. Yeah. So what?
How close are these as far as like time?
I'm sorry.
How close are these as far as like time?
It's all. It's the 3-day event of the U.S. Open.
Ooh. So can you actually do both? Is there, like I said, recovery time's got to be a thing in a 3-day event.
Great question.
But is 3 days enough time?
Yeah, they do a great job of setting up and going.
Meaning?
Great question. No, great question. The whole event. So they've been doing this for like 45 years. They've been doing the U.S. Open for 45 years.
So 45 years? They've been doing this since the 70s?
Yeah. And
thank God Bruce Lee was around to make it popular.
Right. Can you see the screen right now?
No, I got us.
Well, anyways, I got invited to that. So if I go to the Open and I win, I got elbow brick. You asked a great question. It's hard to answer. I got invited to now. What can you see? Oh, okay. Let me try this.
Fucking mess.
Can you see that now?
All right. Yeah.
All right. Now, can you see this? This is 3-direction. So I got invited to this for the ISKA. Can you see this?
Yep.
That's John right there. John Zurisk. It was on a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
So that's 3D wood, 4, 4, and 12.
Cheating up.
Getting keyed up.
Damn.
So I got invited.
You can do a lot with some pre-cut wood, huh?
Shut up. Shut up. I want to punch you in the face. No, but
back.
For that event, I don't need recovery time.
Okay.
Right? You said
it's a recovery. For hand stuff, you probably do, huh?
Brick. So if I do, and if I would like to beat this one guy, and he's a great martial artist. The only reason I want to beat him is because me and him always teed off.
We got priors.
We got priors together. Yeah, that's a good one. We got priors together. We were always so even. He win one, I win one. I usually win the one. He usually wins the brick. And I just want to. He's the 7-year elbow brick lightweight champion. I'd like to take that.
This is your time, huh?
So what I have to do is I have to win. I have to win on Friday. And then I get to compete against him at the Night of Champions. I'm already in the 3-directional, but I can also be in the brick elbow. So if I win the brick elbow and I go over there, now I got to smash my elbow against some bricks, and it's going to hurt. And it's going to hurt the next day. And then I got to smash it against the bricks the next day if I win. So
the substance is more. Substance is more the roadblock than what you're using as far as your hand or your elbow, but brick to wood is the difference mainly.
Brick to wood. Like I can break wood boards all day long for
they give a lot more.
Well, they do. So there's tensile strength.
What's the
Wood has
organic structure of wood?
wood can flex a little bit more to give you a little more play, and it's not as hard. The
Right.
tensile strength of cement it's like push, 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 push. With wood, it's push, 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 push. So it has more give to break. And the more you have, the more give you have. So it hurts a lot.
Yeah. Why? So I suppose that the brick will just need more pop overall to break it, huh? Because you said the tensile strength. Because like concrete, the way it is, like the same reason that they put cracks in the sidewalk so it won't crack.
Well, all they're doing is controlling the crack.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But like a concrete, it doesn't give, and as soon as it gives, it breaks. Whereas wood, it bends until it. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So you need more pop to get through the brick because you need that initial force. Maybe a little bit less with the wood because it's a little more play, like you said.
So with the best way I can describe it, you're answering everything correctly. You really understand something you've never even competed in. With brick, you need more speed and force.
Right, more pop. That's what. Yeah.
More speed, because if you go faster through it, it'll go quicker, right? It'll get more through it. With wood, you got to push harder.
Power too. Yeah.
So it's two different kinds of power.
Yeah, you're putting power through layers too. So it's a whole.
And that are pushing you back. Their idea is to push you back because it's pushing and wants to push back. You got to push through. You never hit the wood. You hit through the wood.
Well, you got to punch through the guy. Don't punch to the guy, right?
Never punch the guy. You never punch or kick the guy.
You want your fist in the back of his head, not the.
Oh, dude! I just saw another orb. I swear to God, I just saw another orb.
No, you're welcome.
Right behind me, right
send it your way. You're welcome.
This is getting crazy, dude.
Question though, because you do a lot of recording. Does this happen on any other of your recordings?
I saw one I do a couple podcasts, and I saw one a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting creepy.
Yeah, welcome, motherfucker. Be careful what you ask for.
I'm not afraid. This is kind of cool, but it's just it's a little.
I just saw another orb. That's the proper word. Creepy.
Creepy.
Yeah. How do you fight something you can't see?
The answer is you can't. Let me rephrase it. You can fight things you can't see. If you're blindfolded, you can fight things you can't see. You can't fight things you can't touch. Does that make sense?
Okay.
You can't fight things you can't touch.
Okay, because touch is different than see, obviously.
Right. Well, you can see something, not touch it, but you can once if I'm blindfolded and someone grabs me,
you can instinctively have maneuvers.
Right. I know a bunch of techniques, and I just got to find out where they're at in time and space and still execute them.
I can go up the arm. I can find out what I'm working with.
Right. Block myself as I'm coming in and then grab
arm to shoulder. Now I know where I'm at, that kind of thing.
But if I can't touch them, I cannot fight them.
One of the weirdest things to think about.
It is, man. So the orbs I can't fight.
I've thought about it far too much. Because it's like, yeah, everybody's big and bad. Yeah, okay. Well, how do you fight something you can't touch? Because that shit is out there too.
The spiritual realm is difficult. There's a lot of people I've seen, I've been looking at
spirits are real, lately. Man. Spirits are real.
Yeah. Demons. I've been watching these guys cast out demons. And there's two reoccurring themes.
You're not watching on regular television, are you?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I'm just skeptical of damn near everything on regular television, I think.
The one thing I've noticed with people that are possessed, the reoccurring theme is they practice, they call tip their toes in Santeria or Satanism.
Pagan, not pagan. What am I saying? What's that Pentagon shit? Yeah.
Satanism.
Yeah.
So when people, Pentagon, right? People get in there for a little bit, try it out, dip their toes in, and then they get possessed and they don't understand. I think there's 4 levels of possession. I don't know if we talked about that, but
absolutely not.
There's 4 levels, and the last one is possession. You know, I wish I could talk about it.
You know what I think I noticed about all this? Is that it's always fucking religious people.
No.
No?
Mm-mm. Atheists can get so
so it's almost always religious people? Because I think the thing with this is the weird part about it is like, how come this is always people who are somewhat
spiritual.
aware of the whole spirit demon world already? Like people unknowing to it, it never seems to happen to them. Like,
well, if the devil's got you where he wants you, he's not gonna. How do I put this? He's not gonna pursue you. He knows when you die, you're going to hell. So he's all set. He doesn't bother you if you're an atheist. It's the believers in something that he's actively hunting down and trying to overtake.
That's one way to look at it.
It's a weird way to look at it. It really is.
I think it's just more that these people have these thoughts in their head already.
You think it's them. You don't think it's somebody else.
Well, these people always have the, like, in order to believe in the devil, you have to believe in God. In order to believe in God, you have to believe in the devil, because there's like two sides of every coin. But Correct. It seems like the people who don't believe in it, like, they're just unaffected.
They're well, here, define unaffected.
There are some people that go their whole life with no spirit experiences.
That was me up till our last podcast, or one of our podcasts.
Yeah, well, you weren't looking either, so I don't know.
Right. Well, I've had experience. I've had God talk to me, but I haven't had an orb pop up in front of me or behind me.
Yeah, that's hardly the weirdest thing.
What do you mean that's hardly the weirdest
thing? It's like, I don't know, man.
What's weirder than that? Give me the weirdness level. Give me your weirdness level.
A weirdness level? Dude, you could see shit move. You could hear voices. You could see things out of place that were somewhere else prior minutes ago. You could, there's all kinds of, the line kind of crosses when physical things start to change. Once it becomes out of the spirit of the paranormal world, right? It becomes something tangible, maybe. Things change a little bit.
I agree with you, but I guess I haven't expressed weirder than what I've seen.
Yeah. There's levels to these bevels.
There's levels to these bevels. I agree with you wholeheartedly, my friend.
You've arrived at step one, but so I said, be careful what you wish for, man. That's kind of what I say too, because like I'm good with the good stuff, but like with the good stuff seems to come other shit. The same thing I mean with like this shit seems to only happen to like religious people.
You're not far off, but how do I explain this? Or this is just stuff I've noticed, and I could prove most of my stuff with studies. In atheists, let's put it this way: the few atheists that I know are the most depressed people I've ever known.
Yeah.
So, are they being affected? I would say yes.
This comes back.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So, I had one guy is a friend of mine, is an atheist, and he told me at one point in his life, you understand when you go to a psychotherapist, they see you once a week, and they give you a game plan for the rest of the week. He was going 3 times a week to 3 different psychologists.
Man, that alone will make you fucking crazy.
He got admitted to 3 different psychotherapists, dude.
Dude, that alone will make you crazy. You got 3 different opinions. They're talking about your life in 3 different ways, having 3 different conversations about it, getting 3 pieces of advice. Like, dude, that's a fucking mess.
Well, it is a mess. That's my point in case. It's a mess. We both agree it's a mess. So are atheists not getting affected? I would say no. Another atheist friend of mine went to California.
He's volunteering almost in a way for torture at that point.
He actually does like masochism.
Yeah, most people, not most, but there's a ton of people that are really masochistic, man.
I don't disagree with that. They like their ass whipped once in a while.
They say life is hard, but it's harder when you're dumb.
It's well, is being smart hard? Yeah. Is being dumb hard? Yeah. Choose your fucking heart.
I don't think being dumb is hard.
Oh, it's very hard.
Oh, it's the easiest thing to do.
I know you're saying ignorance is bliss, and I don't disagree with you. But
being dumb, like I'm just turning off my brain right now. I'm just turning it off.
It's hard.
I'm just turning it off.
Well, fine. How is your life going? You're probably in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Wow, there's tools. There's tools, guy. There's tools.
Well, that's smart. I'm talking dumb.
No, like
our person knows how to use tools.
There's times where I turn off my brain, and sometimes I wake up and do it, and I shouldn't, but sometimes I do it. And that's
a good point. Some people are smart at certain times and dumb at other times.
Well, I use the substances, right? Like, you wake and bake kind of thing. You're turning off your brain, man. You're dulling it.
Yeah, I never enjoyed that at work.
You can't. I actually wrote on X about this recently. Because everybody wants to treat weed like it's this harmless thing, and it's like you don't even know what you're fucking with. Because well, I've kind of concluded that weed fucks with your procedural memory.
I got a brother.
It really does. I promise you it does. I've thought about this for years.
Every day. Smokes weed every day. Still cognitive.
That's fine. You can be functional, but it fucks with your procedural memory. And how I was thinking about this at the time, I said, be careful on there. Because this even goes to levels like climbing a ladder, left hand, right foot, right hand, left foot. That's all procedural memory. If you're stoned and you do left hand, left foot or some shit, I put the dude at working like that. You cannot do this. Is not safe. Please don't do it. Anybody out there, don't smoke and work. Please don't do it. You do fucked up stuff. You put the cake in, but you forgot the batter or whatever the fuck. There's things out of order when you're smoking. And if the stakes are low, that's fine. But if the stakes are high, like you're climbing a fucking ladder or you're getting on a roof, it's probably not the greatest idea.
Doing dangerous things safely, and that's not safe.
Yeah, not safe.
Right? And that's
because
one thing.
When you're at work, dude, you could get fucked up at work. No matter what you're doing. I mean, as you're out in the world, you can get fucked up.
I know. And you'd be surprised. I've had a lot of instances with me and my guys working in dangerous situations, 20 feet in the air with ladders, pulling crown molding, doing all the kind of crazy stuff. And two of the ones that come to mind, this one guy, 4x8 sheets were leaned up against a wall like this, and there was like 15 of them.
Oh boy!
And this one guy was like holding, trying to get one in the middle. So he goes. And this other guy, the little guy, goes like this. Like he wants to hold it up. And the other guy starts leaning like, no! Oh, dude, no!
You're crushed that little dude.
Next to the push, and I go, get out of there. And I pushed it back. He would have got smashed.
Yeah, everybody got crushed, yeah.
Right? And that was a dangerous situation. I go, don't you guys ever do that again. Had a conversation. How much does one of those pieces weigh? 80 pounds. What's 10 of them? 800 pounds. Like, you can hold up 800 pounds. Do some math, dude. And then he kind of like, oh yeah, you're right. Thanks, you saved my ass.
Being dumb is easy. See?
And but that was a dangerous situation. And then another time, the only time I had to take anybody to the hospital at our work, 30 years of doing business, there was a framed wall, right?
Yeah.
There's a framed wall, and they had a little plate on top. You ever seen those little plates? You don't see a lot of them here, probably because you don't have interior walls. There's on a wood wall, they put a plate. So when a pipe goes through and you put up crown molding or base, you don't nail the pipe.
That's smart.
It is smart. Very smart.
It's not something you'll see in Florida.
No. You're not far off. You're not
No,
wrong.
it's backwards bullshit out here, boy.
And there was a plate on the back side of this wall that I was tamping over.
Mm.
And then it had two little hooks on it, and then one of the hooks fell off, and it just kind of fell off this way. And my guy was caulking something, and it fell off and hit him on the hand. And the plate was this big, and it hit him on the hand. Oh. I'm like, you all right? And he goes, I don't know, man. And he started bleeding. He doesn't do well with blood. So we taped him up, and he goes, yeah, something's wrong. I go, okay, good. Let's go to the doctors. So we went to a hospital. And in the ER, we get in there, and the doctor's looking at him, and he goes, yeah, we just did a couple stitches. He's okay. I'm like, okay, good. I went in there. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in a hospital. And the doctor's like, yeah, you'll be okay. His boss comes in. Now, in the ER, it's always interns, right? The new guys, right? In the ER, most of them are interns.
Okay.
But you have one guy walking around that's a resident that watches over the interns.
All right. Okay.
Right? Make sense?
Yep.
He came in the room, and he goes to my buddy. He goes, go like this. And my buddy went like this. And then he looks at the other doctor. The resident looks at the other doctor and goes, you good with this? He goes, yeah, I think we're good. We're all good. And his eyes brightened up. He goes, his ligament got cut.
Yeah, his tendons.
That's why he can't open his hand all the way. He goes, I can't believe you're getting ready to release. He's yelling at him in front of us, which is the last thing you do.
Wow, maybe he needed it.
And so Brian had to go in for surgery, and they had to go in his arm, grab the ligament, reattach it, put him in a cast. And I said, don't worry about anything. You get paid while you're off, blah, 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 blah. And he got fixed, came back. But the 800 pounds it was 15 or 10 or 15 of them. So it was over 800 pounds.
See, being dumb is easy, see?
But it's painful because you could die. And then the other one was a simple thing that you wouldn't even think would have happened. A piece of metal hit his hand, and it popped the ligament. It's the craziest. What could hurt you? What could hurt you? And we were working with saws, miter boxes that could cut your fucking hand off.
That's the point. That's the whole point of wearing a hard hat. It's not because, like, usually if you wear a hard hat, it's not you that's gonna hurt yourself. It's the other shit going on around you,
It's the other person dropping something.
Or not doing something right, or something's unfinished and you don't know it, or whatever the fuck,
Walking on a piece of wood you think's fine is a hole underneath it. Dude, you have no idea.
You thought the scaffold was put up right.
Every time we put up scaffolding, man, we
scaffolding. Some of that stuff goes really high.
I know. We did houses that were like 20, 30 feet high. We had to put like medallions, and it was really kind of cool. We did some cool stuff like a hoist inside of a chandelier. I'm like, what are you guys doing up there? You gotta put a hoist
inside of a chandelier. That's a monster chandelier.
A monster chandelier. Up in the roof is a hoist. We put some 2x4s down, put a hoist, and then you hang the chandelier. And then it pulls up and it connects to the wall. The flat part of a chandelier, the cup of the chandelier, then it goes to the wall. It goes like this. Then you hit a button, you turn a key, and the chandelier comes down, and you stop it, a foot off the ground, and you can clean the chandelier and then hit a button, and then it goes back up.
Pretty fancy.
Very fancy. Very fancy.
Some big old hardware keeping that shit together, boy.
Well, once you're done, the beauty of what we did is once you're done, you're done. We build stuff to last forever.
Yeah, they don't do that no more.
Some people do. It costs a little bit more, and people are too scared to pay for it. So,
no, it has a market. It's always had a market. Because especially for women, they're like my woman. That's kind of how I learned it. But you get what you pay for in life. Forever, I was a cheap ass, right? It took me to get married to realize you're right. You get what you pay for in life, Just pay the good drywall guy to come over, because the guy who wants $10 down the street, that's not the guy you want.
Nope.
You know what I mean? And that goes with everything. It's the same with everything.
Yeah, like cars that I got. I always had. I
Yeah, you
always
could
bought.
buy a beater, or you could buy a fucking legit car that you won't have to worry about every week the oil leaking or the gasket's gone or the whatever the thing is.
Yep. Perfect. Yep. Perfect example. So I had that Tesla. I love that car, and then the hurricane took it out.
Well, Ukraine has it now, so have fun.
Ukraine has it now.
Or they used to, whatever.
They got it right now. I just looked at it today.
Still?
I'm not going to shut it off.
They're
I
not
can't
done.
control. It says would you like to get your phone key, which means your phone key is basically your phone's in your pocket. You walk up to it and it unlocks. It's a Bluetooth connection. So once it senses your phone, it'll unlock it. And I'm like, I can't turn my phone key on using Kiava.
Yeah, well, you don't live in Florida no more, so you could probably get another one.
Well, I got to build a garage. Those cars you pretty much need a garage for.
It makes sense too. It's electric, it's battery, it's all electrical.
It's better to have a charger that I could put a post outside, but I'm like, eh.
It's one thing to deal with garage dust. It's another thing to deal with everything outside, I guess.
That's not really the deal. The car is made really well. It's not that. It's
I don't know. I don't know.
the heat and the cold really affect the battery. Too hot or too cold. That's why this area is nice because it's not too hot, not too cold. But in a garage really does help out.
Yeah, South Carolina, ain't you?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it hot as fuck in the summer out there?
Is it hotter than Florida?
I didn't say hotter than Florida. I said hot as fuck.
A little bit.
I was there recently in summer. And it was hot as fuck.
It's like Florida in the summer.
Yeah. There you go. See, hot as fuck, dude.
Yeah, it is.
We had to take breaks even when we were out and about. Just like here. Maybe not as much as here.
When did you go to South Carolina?
I told you about this. This is before, probably shortly after your boy moved there. I told you we went up to I was going to go up to Greenville, but we ended up going to Seneca. Out there by Clemson and stuff. We were riding around. We went to Clemson University. It was all shut down, though. I think we went around Christmas time or something. Went exploring and there's some forges that were out there that were pretty cool. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Old forges, some old Civil War era type forges and stuff that are pretty cool.
Where they forged
saw how the forge fed the
musket.
town. You saw how the forge fed the town all of its supplies that it needed. You saw how large these fucking things were. It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Got a lot of history out here.
I was trying to think of they got a fucking hero right around there. I can't remember his name. He was in the Civil War. And this dude is a legend out there. I can't remember his fucking name though. I was thinking about it the other day.
Did he work for the Confederate or the
He was a Confederate. What do you mean? Did he work for it? Was there another option in South Carolina?
Well, what state was it? Wasn't it Georgia? One of the states had 50% Confederate and 50% Republic.
I don't know. That sounds like a Maryland thing.
It's like a Maryland thing. It was Virginia or something like that.
I'm not kidding. The Mason-Dixon's at the top of Maryland, so.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a weird state to be from. Historically.
Let's not say that because there might be some audience members. It's awesome.
Don't give a shit. They know it too. Dude, everybody in Pennsylvania North thinks we're part of the South. And everybody Virginia South thinks we're part of the North. So it's like, yeah, it's a weird state to be from historically.
Brian Goss said that. I didn't.
It's a weird state to be from historically. No doubt.
Hey, listen, man, the state of insanity is the only place it's a hard time coming from.
I don't know. That Underground Railroad looked pretty hard. A weird state to be from historically. I'm going to tell you again.
Nah, I don't disagree with it, my friend.
You see your boy Trump and Elon are beefing. Do you see all that?
I have not.
You have not.
I have not. Please explain.
I don't know a whole bunch about it because I just don't care that much. But
welcome to my world, buddy.
Seems that this all started with Doge.
Okay.
Elon got a ton of pushback against what Doge was trying to do.
Yeah, because people want to secure their funding.
Or whatever it is. There's a I can pull up my X real quick. I can show you a couple things. But yeah, it kind of seems where this started because people weren't going to actually implement what everybody was talking about implementing, and they were just bullshitting basically. And he was like, "Man, whatever, dude. I did my best. That's all I can do."
You mentioned that, but I don't know the full scope of it.
And then him and Trump started beefing. Yeah, I don't know, man. Let's see. Nah, that's too far back. I ain't gonna fucking find it. Yeah, but they're beefing. Elon's basically pissed that they weren't gonna do what the fuck they were planning on doing, and he was getting through all the fucking red tape and everything else, right? And then Trump wants to talk shit as he does. And Elon was. There's a good meme out there. There's a good meme out there actually. You remember? You know the Marvel world. Remember Civil War?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do.
Yeah, they had a meme out there. It was Captain America was on one side and Iron Man was on the other. And
oh, jeez.
I think the Captain America side, it showed Trump, and it was like, I got elected in this last election by myself or something. And then Tony Stark was the Elon side. He was like, "The fuck you did."
No, Elon Musk did change the landscape.
Yeah, I think he said he spent like $300 million on the election trying to help, and that's beyond what he did on X trying to help him and stuff. You know, just yeah.
I feel bad for both of them. They had a good.
You should not feel bad, dude. Then they talk about how much money Elon lost just to do all that stuff.
Do you have any idea how much he lost?
It's an insane number.
Stock went to nothing. Not nothing. It went from like let me double check. I don't want to speak out of turn. And I hope any government contract is still secure. They go much 400 now. It was down to 250. And today it's 326. So 400 is only 75 points. That's not bad. On a $400 stock. Do you ever hear of Kathleen Wood? She's a famous investor for ARK Investment Ventures, ARK Investments, and she is just tripling down on Tesla. She said the valuation of Tesla is to be somewhere in the 2,600 range.
Well, he's back in the driver's seat of Tesla probably because he's not distracted, you know. So now's a good time, and I think the lefties are going to stop burning him
because he backed Trump.
Well, now that him and Trump are fighting, there's a little meme going around for that too. They were like, lefties are so confused. I don't know whether to burn Teslas or buy Teslas.
You see these people? These people are idiots that attack the cars. They come up and scratch. This girl came up and keyed a car, and a cop catches her and goes, and she goes, he goes, "Let me see your keys." Sees the keys. He goes, "There's white paint on the white car," and she goes, and there's bullet holes in it. And he goes, "Let me see your backpack." And he pulls out her backpack, pulls out a 9mm. He goes, "There's a bullet hole. So you're gonna have to get arrested." She starts running.
Nice. Well, these people are going to realize that there's like surveillance on these cars at all times.
Well, let me tell everybody. I had a Tesla. Let me give somebody a good bit of advice. There's a security feature on the car that if someone comes up to the car, it automatically starts taping it. So if you do any damage, you've got your face doing the damage on the car every time it's out. It's called Sentry Mode. If you walk up to the car, you see the screen, you see
Yeah,
the
yeah.
red dot on it. It's called Sentry Mode. You're
Right.
being taped. So, and here's another funny meme. Someone said, the people that are destroying Tesla cars are Democrats destroying other Democrats' cars.
Yeah. It's like the blacks destroying the black-owned businesses in the neighborhood.
Brian Gauss said that again.
Hey, this is fact. You can run from the fact all you want, but it happens over and over, man.
It does. It does. It's weird. Look at
this. This is what I was talking about right here. Hold on. Let's see if. Let's do this.
What do you got for me, Brian?
You read it? Or no?
Yes. Lost 20% of his fortune during his quest got to the U.S. government. He doesn't care, though. He doesn't care about money.
Well, you see his response on this.
Where?
In the top. This is something that he posted off of JD Vance posted this, and then he's posted this right here.
Worth it.
And then this was his whole post of the post, though. Like I said, worth it.
Exposing corruption, man. And bureaucracy. I think one of his ulterior motives is to get rid of bureaucracy.
I think he's just trying to help steer the ship. But
in the right direction.
Even the richest and maybe most influential man in the world can't save us from our own bureaucracy.
You know who's the only people that can save us from our bureaucracy?
Soros?
Us.
How?
In our Constitution, we got 2 ways to eject people.
Inject or eject?
Eject.
Okay.
So, Senate, state, presidency, any elected official can be impeached.
Yeah.
If people were to get together and say, we want to balance the budget, and if you don't balance the budget, you're not going to make it this year, they would automatically start working on the budget and trying to balance the budget. All we'd have to do is impeach 7 or 8 senators, 8 or 9 or 10 elected officials.
Yeah.
And they saw that, they would do their job. They would do exactly what we wanted them to do.
There's a good one, part of what Elon was talking about with Trump, because there's been this thing going around, somebody pushed, and then Elon was like, hell yeah, and then Trump was like, hell yeah, and then Elon was like, where did this dude go that was seconding this shit? But it was something like, if the deficit outgrows like 3% of our GDP, then nobody who's currently sitting is eligible for re-election.
That was Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett said it a while back.
Buffett said,
and then I could fix the deficit.
I could fix the deficit in 10 minutes. All you have to do is make a law that any standing senator that if the GDP was over 3% of our budget,
well, the deficit was over 3% of our GDP.
Of our budget. Yeah, then we would you'd be automatically impeached. And
well, no, you would be uneligible for re-election, was what he said.
Well, there you go. Unelected for
Well, that's their whole job after they get elected is just to get reelected. So that's all they're worried about.
Yep. And we got to make that law. The people got to get together. With the internet, it's easy.
Well, these 80-year fucking political assholes, they just need to get the fuck out. Yeah.
No, we got it. No, absolutely not. We got to monitor them. We set up our government to monitor them. And we're not doing it. It's our
no. The people that are in there for 60 years though are entrenched.
You're not getting this.
They're entrenched.
Let's say they're entrenched.
They've got the game rigged.
They got the game rigged. I agree with you. Can we kick them out?
We can't do shit. Obviously,
we can kick them out.
No, we can't do shit.
Yes,
obviously,
we can.
No, we can't.
We can. Look in the Constitution. We got impeachment rights.
You can say that, but it doesn't
We have
happen.
impeachment right. We can vote them back in next year.
Eric Swalwell was banging CCP spies, but we didn't kick him out.
It's whose fault is it? Their fault or our fault? If we have the power to kick them out, and we don't kick them out, whose fault is it? Their fault or our fault?
I don't think we have the power to.
We look at our Constitution.
You can say it's in writing, but get people to do it. They won't.
I'm not disagreeing with you. They won't.
Oh, we have the ability. We have the ability to do so. Well,
with enough pain, people will act.
It took these fucking immigrants. It took these fucking immigrants showing in people's neighborhoods, getting more money than the fucking poor people, for them to finally figure out that we should close the border.
Well, actually, we elected some. There you go. We elected somebody to do it.
I guess
we got out the guy that was doing it. Got in the guy. We have the power, and if we don't exercise our right, we're gonna lose it.
Well, these mass deportations were apparently a joke anyway.
Well, I learned something recently. I have a friend out here that is trying to get legal, and he said, like, what happens if you get gone? You know, I heard they raided a bar last weekend at 12 o'clock at night, and the police went and locked the doors and just said, show me your green cards. And they just took away like 100 and something people. They knew they were coming in this one spot. It was absolutely brilliant how they did that. And I said, hey, when I call you don't answer, I get a little bit worried. And he goes, don't worry about me. If I get deported, I'll be back in a week. He knows how to get in. I'm like, okay. So is this really helping?
I don't know. I know they say if you were to give due process to everybody on checking them out and getting them out, they said it would take over like 100 years.
Is it due process, or is it the president's stroke of the pen?
Seems to be due process. You see the LA shit going on, right?
Yeah, that's kind of blowing my mind. Those guys got to riot every 5 years, don't they?
Well, they're incentivized to do so.
How are they incentivized?
Paid protesting is a thing.
Oh my God.
That's what somebody said recently, and they were like, how is everybody just out here like all days of the week protesting? How are they feeding their families? And I said to them, I was like, look, this is clearly how some of them are feeding their families, by protesting. And then you got a governor out there who's just going to support all that. Then you got the mayor out there who's just going to support all that. They talk shit too. I've seen them on X, Gavin and stuff. Yeah, we're going to crack down and hold people accountable. I'm like, man, y'all haven't held people accountable for shit. This is a fucking fake ass fucking
statement if you ever heard one.
Yeah, dude.
Kill that cockroach.
I'm gonna smack this dog. She's biting at herself.
What is she? Don't smack him because she's biting at herself.
She just does it nonstop. It's fucking annoying.
She's biting herself. She's not biting you.
It's fucking annoying. I hear for fucking the past 10 minutes, I'm gonna fucking throw something at her.
Maybe she got an itch. Might have to take her to the vet.
Yeah, I'm gonna give her a fucking itch upside her head.
Easy, Papa.
Yeah, that stuff's crazy though out there.
I don't understand it. I really don't understand it.
What don't you understand?
It's
spread too. It spread. I heard it spread like today or yesterday. Now it's in San Fran. Now they're rioting in San Fran now. ICE agents were sent in. I think ICE agents were attacked. Trump was like, fuck you. He started sending in National Guard. Like, whoa, you can't send in National Guard because we didn't warrant it. It's our state, blah, blah, blah. Well, no, he's thinking the government is obviously incompetent or out of control in the state. So he's going to fucking take over.
So are you handling the riots?
So he's
a simple question. The military gets involved when you can't handle something. Are you handling the riots?
Oh, yeah. I don't know what the fuck they're
If
doing.
Newsom's not handling the riots, Trump has the right to send them
Yeah,
the
yeah.
national guard.
And my friends lives out in California. He's telling me that they're trying to sue Trump now.
Yeah. You
Basically,
got
like
friends? Wait a minute, you got friends?
superseding state rights. Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is.
If the governing body of California cannot handle their situation, Trump, the military has the right to come in and send people, and it's only National Guard. It's not
Right. It's a fine line. That's all it is.
It is.
You have to reach a certain threshold of like chaos before. But
Well,
I don't see what people don't get anymore. And maybe we're back where you're from. You see this a lot more, but like the left's plan partly is to induce chaos so they can swoop in and be the hero. That's their plan. They want you to be dependent on them, the state, the fucking government funding. You know, we're from the government and we're here to help. Yeah, famous last words, you know?
the you don't hear you're not gonna I don't know if you're gonna like this or not like this.
Oh, let's go.
Majority of there's no stats on this. I'm gonna preface most of the stuff I say I can back up with stats. Remember I said the most atheists are the most depressed people I know.
Well, I think
right?
the left is, but yeah.
My point is the left, you know, has people in there that act like demon possessed people. Does that make sense?
Well,
And the right is
they're a step away from soulless creatures, I guess.
Mostly creatures, but most of the right I see is most Bible. The areas that are red mostly in voting are generally urban areas that are not urban areas, rural areas that are big believers in God, and then the cities are I'm going to say more atheist and liberal. Does that make sense? So the battle could be between good and evil.
It's always the same battle.
Huh?
It's always that same battle. It's the eternal battle.
The eternal battle. That is true.
Tell you that boy, was it Jesse Lee Peterson? I sent you his stuff before, right?
Oh, I love that dude.
He's crazy.
But
he coming from a plantation in Alabama in the South during the times, he does not believe in racism.
Charlie Kirk.
He does not believe that racism exists.
I see. I love the way he thinks.
He thinks in proper terms, really. Yeah, I can see how he gets by it too.
If you think in mindset, he's right. Racism doesn't exist, then it doesn't exist. But if you focus on racism, in what the people that are talking about racism now are talking about past racisms.
Mostly. Yeah.
Reparations. They're not talking about current. I go, Charlie Kirk said it best. He goes, you got white privilege. And it's easy coming from you. It's white privilege. Charlie Kirk said, what can I do that you can't do? Show me something that I can do that you can't do. And the guy generally can never come up with anything. Well, we're talking about in the past. So we're talking about, social norms. We're not talking about concrete law.
You're talking about somebody else's experience, not yours.
Well, no, he's trying to make the point that if there's racism today, show me it. Don't show me concepts or in the ether. Show me it.
I'm sure
and I'll fight along. He said, I'll fight alongside you to get rid of it.
I'm sure it's out there. But anyway, Jesse Lee Peterson gets around it because he doesn't believe in racism. He believes that there are good people and there are evil people. And that's it.
That is 100% true.
Now that's basically true. Because you could be a piece of shit in any color.
Color holds no bound on being a piece of shit. That's for sure. That is a truism.
I have some other expressions, but I won't say them.
It would sound racist.
Yes.
No, but
yes. Yes.
I've seen good and bad in every race.
Yep.
And I would say the most consistently good race I've seen is Asian.
Asians. Yeah.
Asians. They seem the
Well,
most
they command respect.
because they are.
That's the biggest difference, with this Japan here thing. It's like we're all looking at Japan like, God, we really lost it. Y'all still got it. Is the respect is the big thing. They still command it. They still have it.
Yeah.
They still enforce it. They don't play
Do
shit.
you know how respectful they are? Do you know how respectful they are? On a train where everybody's on the train, nobody says a fucking word. I was in Japan and I had to take this call. We were doing a closing and I'm like,
well, being loud over there is rude. Just being loud.
No, I not being loud, like not talking.
Well, that's like a public setting.
Load of people. And I know they knew each other. And then as they left with couples and stuff. They didn't say a word on the train. I'm over there like whispering on a phone, and I'm the only voice you can hear. Only voice you can hear. How respectful. They care more about other people than they do themselves. They don't want to dishonor their family.
Yeah. Yeah, honor. That's a big one.
Agreed.
I'm going to get another drink real quick. Hold on.
Get your pop on?
Yeah. Yeah, it's respect, though, man. That's what it is. That's the biggest difference I find in that culture versus ours. It's fucking respect.
The halfway mark was where all the orbs were last time. Love your fish tank, dude.
Hey, go watch this.
You gonna pour beer in it? Ooh, strobe light.
No, just black light.
Black light.
But now it's respect, man. As this thing I said a while back, and I put it on X recently, dude. Just hey, anybody follow me on X, dude. I'll put you on game, dude. Just follow me. I'll put you there. But I said that more people have died throughout history because of disrespect than anything else. And I don't even think it's close to us number 2. And I said in the post too, I was like, make sure you teach your kids this so the world doesn't have to. Because you're not going to like it when that happens.
That is true.
That's one of the biggest things you could probably do for them is just to be respectful out in the world, Because the world will be out there to fuck them up.
Fuck them up.
Dude.
The world will be out there to fuck them up.
Dude. You, what do they say? You get your kids to navigate to the road. You don't bend the road to navigate to your kids. Something like that. Right. I think I'm butchering it, but it's something to that effect. Like, you get your kids ready for the road. You don't get the road ready for your kids.
The most dangerous thing is a helicopter parent.
Do dangerous things safely.
I don't know if you can do that safely.
Well, no, that goes to your point. You talk about doing dangerous things safely. You gotta like more than ever, today's world, you need unsupervised time for the kids more than ever. Because it's like you're in the back and they're starting shit with the kid and they always know you're gonna bail them out. They're gonna behave differently. Like you're not there. And one day you're not gonna be able to be there, and you need to get them coached up to be prepared for that world too.
So how are you going to raise your kids to be adults? What is your objective for your kids?
Mainly to be a free thinker.
How are you going to achieve that?
Not censor their thoughts. Allow them to think a bit dangerously without getting the fucking hammer dropped on them.
Are you gonna make them think?
You can't make anybody do anything.
Yeah, you can help them, you can promote them.
That's not making them do it.
Well,
that's influencing them. That is not making them.
Okay, what's the difference between coaching and making?
Influence and making. Command or influence. It's kind of that same.
And they're both pretty interchangeable.
No.
Okay, so explain the difference.
Commanding? It's the same difference between discipline and self-discipline. It's giant. One is imposed on you, and one comes from you.
Well, if you're trying to influence your kid or make your kid do something. So if I'm influencing,
that's what people are searching for, by the way. Most people don't even realize that like they're trying to have influence over their kids. This is why when they push too hard and lose them, they lose their influence over their kids, and then they're fucked. But you can't make anybody do anything. The people that try to make their kids do something are also fucked, because the kid's going to rebel in the opposite direction.
Depend on age. You can make a 5-year-old.
Depends on person a little bit, but like there's a varying degree of how much rebellion, right? There is a healthy amount of rebellion, which is where you want to keep them, right?
Exactly.
That's what Jocko always talks about, right? A healthy level of rebellion.
It is helpful. My son,
a healthy level of it, because you can have an unhealthy level of it, but you want to just stay in that sweet spot.
My son would joke with me as he's growing up. And my wife said, "Why do you let him do that to you?" I go, "Because he's joking." And if he were to be, if the difference between joking,
this is guy banter stuff.
The guy banter's joking was if he tries to ridicule me and it's not funny. I go, that's the difference.
Good barometer. Funny, good barometer.
Right? If it's not funny, then he's not joking. Dad, shut up and sit down. Hey, Dad, if you don't shut up and sit down, you're going to get old. You know, it's being funny is really the barometer.
Yeah, and that's the same for anybody telling a joke. A comedian, by the way. I mean, this is the oldest thing. Can you tell racist jokes? Of course, if they're funny. Yeah. Right. Everybody knows that. I laugh at white jokes, black jokes, Asian jokes, whatever. I don't care if it's funny.
Is it racist if it's funny?
It could be both. Sure.
Well, think about it. If it's just designed to be funny, is it racist?
It could be both. It could be an and. It doesn't have to be an or.
I think if
it can be funny and racist. Like I could be making fun of like short Asians or something, and it's accurate and funny and racist.
Here's one for you. How do you phone the Oriental guy, an Asian guy? Dental floss.
Nah.
What do you call a Chinese billionaire?
You've used this one. Ching ching, ching chang.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. There you go. Yeah. If it's funny, dude. If it's funny, and you can do it. If it's not funny, then you're gonna eat shit.
Back to how do you get your kids to be free thinkers? Is promote them. How I got my kids to be financially responsible is challenge them on financing. My son came up to me and goes, "I want a cell phone." I said, "How are you going to get it?" And at this age, he already knew what I was going to say. He goes, "To add your mom's plan is $10. I'll pay the $10 a month, and I got $30 for a phone." At the time, they were $30 or something like that. I forgot what it was. I go, "What do you need from me?" He goes, "A signature." Because he can't rent it. He was under 18.
Right.
So now he takes ownership over the phone.
That's the word. That's the word, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
He said, how do you get your kids to do? And you're saying put ownership. They need ownership. That's the word.
If you give them the phone, they'll like it for a little while, and they won't take care of it.
You know, this goes back to something else I say all the time. You can't give people shit.
No.
You can't give them shit. We spoke about this a little bit. We spoke about this a little bit.
You give them an opportunity.
We spoke about this a little bit with your boy John on the other episode, right? Like you can't give them a free class. You can't give people shit. This is what the left doesn't understand, by the way. You just
they want
can't
everything
give
cut.
people shit. You can let people earn it. Because if you give somebody something with no attachments, they are 100% more likely to squander it.
Can they give them an opportunity? Can you give
somebody? You can let them earn it. And when people earn something, it becomes more valuable to them. I don't care if it's fucking, you got 5 hours at the soup kitchen. I don't care if you're disabled and you need to work the fucking phones or do something on some other way. But fucking let them contribute to the thing. Then they'll appreciate the thing. You can't give people shit. But the left, that's what the left does, isn't it? They sell that fucking utopian bullshit.
Oh, I was talking, that's another podcast, and I was talking to somebody that came from socialist Germany, East Germany.
Oh my God.
Oh, dude, this girl was like,
dude.
She done educated me.
She needs to head up. She needs to be on Fox News every day, that kind of person.
Oh, dude, I go, so how was socialism? She goes, it was horrible.
Yeah.
I go, what's the difference between socialism and capitalism? And
starving people.
I don't want to laugh, but you're right,
dude.
You know, you're 100% right.
There's something actually people. Recently on my X. Let's see if I can find it real quick. So fucking relevant though. So relevant, man.
But anyways, we had a great conversation. We were talking about how the way she described it, she had this little bunny, white bunny, when she was a little kid. And she didn't understand the difference between communism and social and capitalism. And her uncle came from a capitalist country like America. And then he was trying to explain it to a young girl. And he goes, here's how I can explain it to you. You know, do you love that? Do you love that doll? She goes, I love that doll. He says, your favorite thing? Yeah, I love this doll. It's my most favorite item in the world. Yeah. In a socialist country, you have to give it to somebody else because they need it. You can't have ownership.
Well, your property is no longer your own in a socialist
country. Don't own property. Like all your houses you just live in. And I go, what does that promote? She goes, that promotes people not to do well. In America, in a capitalist society, ideas are a commodity. Ideas are the commodity.
That's the cycle.
And so ideas implemented.
See the cycle? Progress.
Let's see. Establish a new communist, she told. Rob and kill, successful. Force the rest of the workforce for free. Run out of food. Starve to death. Say it wasn't real communism. Establish a new communism. Woo! Did you post that?
Yeah, that's the cycle right there, bro.
Yeah, you're not too far off. Starve the people. That is one of the cantons of.
This is another to the other point we were saying it can't give people shit.
Looting, and free housing, free food, free education, and free phones just aren't enough. Oh wow, that's horrible. That is horrible, but true.
That's funny. There's one more this guy liked that was on the trial. You'll like this one. Oh, it's so funny.
That is a good one, though.
So true. He's like, I was right? Oh, my God.
That is funny and sad in the same breath.
Well, you know, they say the one thing he got wrong, don't you?
What?
Is that he assumed that the state surveillance or the surveillance was going to come from the state.
Where is it coming from?
The state is we are the surveillance. We have the surveillance for everybody else. It's not the state. It's us.
Self-imposed.
Yeah, this is Stasi shit.
Self-imposed modernization.
You remember the Stasi shit, right?
No, I never Stasi.
That was the East German police who were keeping tabs on everybody, and all the neighbors were snitching on everybody because it was a popular thing to do, and they could virtue signal for it. Kind of like everybody did out in like California and New York for COVID when people had masks and they weren't wearing a mask, or they had people over their house, or whatever the fuck the thing was. People were so happy to tell on people to the state. It was unreal. And it's just like some East Germany Stasi shit all over again. Because people don't change. The world changes, but people don't.
Well, Jesus Christ wrote, did a documentary. They did a documentary on Jesus Christ, wrote a book, and it's still applicable today because people haven't changed.
It is very applicable because, as I write on X, the same people who killed Jesus are alive and well today.
Yep.
The same people that killed Socrates are alive and well today. Yep. The same people that killed Bruno.
Dude, I really think Socrates.
People don't change.
They don't change.
The world changes a lot. People don't change.
Isn't that insane?
I was talking to my dad actually about this earlier, but we don't live long enough to change, I kind of think. Historically, we live, what, 20, 30 years and we fucking die?
Historically, we live 80 years. It was 20, 30 back in the day.
There was one village elder that made it through, and so we made it that long commonly? Yeah, right.
Dude, the average life expectancy of a human male is 77, I think. 72 or 77.
In a perfect world.
No, the average.
What?
Hey, Siri, you know what we should do? We should have ChatGPT. Like, hey, ChatGPT.
Whatever.
Hey, Siri, what's the average lifespan of a human male in the United States? Oh, shit. We're expected about 70 years. For females, it's 75. Shit, we're less. 5 years less than women. Your wife's going to live 5 years longer than you.
Maybe.
I had some sobering experience.
So, I'll tell you this. So, in 1900, the average life expectancy was 47, asshole. That's just in 1900.
So,
let's go back one more. Let's go back to 1800 and see what that says. 30 to 40 years in 1800. So factor that in.
Right.
Since the beginning of time, factor that in. And then, come on, dude.
So, what is it? Just 600. What's the average life expectancy in 600?
Oh, do you want me to do that for real?
I do.
30 to 35 years.
So from the 600s, probably from zero.
So the life expectancy increased 5 years in over 1,000 years.
Exactly.
That's pathetic. So, like I said, 20 to 30 years is how long we lived, and that was about it. Dude, you got randomly bit by a fucking snake that you didn't see, dead. You fell out, you were going to fetch water, and your footing slipped, and you fell off the cliff, dead.
What happens when you got an infection?
Dead.
No antibiotics.
If they don't cut your arm or leg off in time, it's going to your heart, and you're dead. Dead.
You just got an optimistic outlook, buddy.
I'm just saying. You look at that Sparta time, or if they saw you in the village and you were male that was older than like 20 to 25, they just assumed you were a coward.
They assume you're a pretty good assumption too.
Yeah, in that culture, absolutely. Like they had some random village elders at the time, but and this is what you're reaching for, the average life expectancy. You're saying we live 70, 80. Yeah, exceptions to the rule don't disprove the rule.
Nope. And I had a sobering experience recently. My buddy called me up and told me that one of my friends passed from cancer, and I'm 60, right?
Mm-hmm.
And two of my friends are going to be, one of my friends is 6'3", and he's 138 pounds, not anticipated to make it to Christmas. And I got another friend from high school that is in the same boat, and we're all within. I'm turning 60, between 61 and 58. These are not large numbers. These aren't 70, 80. What do you think the common denominator with all the people we're talking about is?
They eat shit. They don't exercise.
Don't exercise.
The sedentary lifestyle
is more dangerous than anything else we can imagine.
I've said this to people. I say, the comfort that you seek will likely kill you faster than the struggle of life itself.
Agreed. That's a good saying, man. You should post that.
I have.
That's a good one.
Follow me. Put your own game. But it's true.
I'll put that in my 800 other things I have to do.
But no, this is fun time following me. That's all that is.
Yeah, that's true. I like that Orwell. And that's
a good one. It's so good.
That's a good one.
Good. You know who got it right, though, was Huxley.
Who's Huxley?
So Huxley wrote some similar shit about that to Orwell, but he assumed kind of the Stasi state thing, that we'll be the reporters for the state, essentially.
Really? Mm-hmm. When did he write that?
I don't know exactly. I'll find out. I want to say it was around the same time, but Orwell was what, 40s or whatever?
40s, 50s. Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, The Brave New World.
Oh, The Brave New World.
That was Huxley. 32. Okay.
1932, so a little bit before him.
Mm-hmm. You're probably the precursor to him. Maybe that's where he got some of his ideas, maybe.
Interesting.
But off the top of my head, I don't know everything that Huxley talked about in the book, but that was like one of the big discrepancies between their two positions. Huxley thought that the people would be doing the reporting for the state, and Orwell thought that the state would be like top down, more like a CCP style thing, where they are the surveillance state. But don't worry, we got surveillance now.
Yeah, on everybody. You don't think the state's watching too?
This has changed the whole world, though. The whole world. Because I'll tell you, simply put, a human, an animal, whatever, a human that knows it's being recorded behaves differently.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I utilize that.
When you go out in public, anywhere, you have the chance that somebody is recording you. Or you could have overhead CCTV footage from something, whatever. But really the threat, I think, is that people anywhere, anytime, like, you know how people are, as an event happen, there's 50 fucking phones looking at it. It's
right. Do you know
how it changes? But the scary part is, to me, is that it changes people's behavior. And sometimes
here's a question for you.
Sometimes maybe that's good. But what about our kids who are never going to learn themselves, the good and the bad, because they don't have the room to make mistakes?
Everybody's got room to make mistakes.
Well, yeah. If you made your stupid mistakes when you were 16, that you did stupid shit, but you had it put online to every friend you've ever had, and it lives in infamy for the rest of your life, that is a far different situation. Because I did all kinds of stupid shit when I was younger, but it ain't living in infamy online. If it was, it'd probably fuck with me a lot more, right?
Right. If you do stupid stuff. But what about...
what did you do when you were a kid? What the fuck?
I did a lot of stupid stuff.
No shit! And if you were haunted by it for the rest of your life because you did it, then you would not have ventured or explored who you were in different ways. Like I said, the good and the bad.
You got a valid point. I'm not going to discount it.
I'm super worried about it. But like a lot of people that mention this, our kids are not going to make more mistakes.
Does the video make people better or worse?
I think it makes people inauthentic.
Better or worse?
Oh man!
If you're authentically an asshole and it makes you better, that's what I want.
So you're pro-surveillance state?
Well, you can utilize... I told you about that one time I was building a house in 6 days, right?
Because they're going to make sweeping rules about this thing, right? It's like everybody can be recorded or nobody can be recorded. It's like...
If we allow it.
Well, that's the way laws work. They put in laws to say we can record anybody here, or we can't record anybody here, or whatever. But that's how laws work.
It is how laws work. Our lawmakers make them, and we can always make the lawmakers change them if we want to.
Make anybody do shit. Obviously,
dude, you can. You can. Enough protests and real quick.
Politicians are fake, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't disagree with that, but have you heard anybody talking about gender-assigned surgery without the parents knowing anymore?
I mean, anymore.
No.
All of our rules and laws led us to a point where they were.
7th month, 2025. They were talking about that in 2024.
Yeah, good thing
there was a law that a kid could say, I want to become a woman, to the school, and the school would start the process without the parents' involvement.
Yeah, that's crazy.
My question to Jordan Peterson said, when did the left go too far? And I go, when you went after the kids.
When they started fucking with the kids.
We were always the breaking point. We're okay with you acting insane. We're okay with that. The second you come after our kids, then we're going to draw a line, and then we're going to push back, and we're going to push it back farther than you've ever taken anything.
That's terrible. You know what that tells me? It tells me that it took that far to get the women off their ass.
It was, I agree.
So because we can both vote, we're just, one of us wants to steer the ship correctly, and one of us wants to just fucking feel good about it. Now we're at a crossroads because we finally started genitally mutating your children without your
permission,
without your consent.
Right.
That's what it took.
The crazy people that allow it.
That's what it took, though. That's retarded.
Yeah. How far did they have to go? They had to come after your kids.
So is this the part where we say women shouldn't be allowed to vote?
I'm not going to go that route.
Well, I mean,
is it a?
I mean,
I know, but you could make the argument that men can be conscripted to go to war, so only men should vote.
Yeah, I've got it. Oh, it is a fun one.
You can make the argument, but I don't know.
Something about I can't remember the exact verbiage. I'm gonna fuck it up. But there was a bumper sticker that was like, "If you ain't got a vagina, you shouldn't make the call on any abortion." But it rhymed the way I read it. I was like, "Oh, that's funny." And I came up with my own. I was like, "No balls, no war calls." Because if you don't have a fucking hand in it, then you ain't gonna give a fuck about it. The same people with the immigrants, right? You said they had to feel it. Why? Why do people need to feel the pain from their decision before they're like, oh, maybe that was wrong? Why?
Because we're talking to dumb people and smart people.
I thought it was hard. I thought it was hard to be dumb. What do you mean?
It is hard to be dumb.
It's the easiest fucking thing. I'm telling you. It takes the least amount of effort.
I told you where my buddy asked my dad, he goes, Tom, what's your one thing in life? My dad said, a wise man profits from another man's mistakes. And he literally said to him right after, he goes, yeah, I don't learn from other people's mistakes. I got to make my mistakes by myself. My dad looked at him and said, you're going to have a hard life. And he was right. He had a hard life and just passed away a few months ago.
But you know what? He didn't forget those lessons that he learned. See, I think I've been down this so many times, but and I was the hard-headed one and all that stuff too, and I know a lot of people that are, but I know why it's just so frustrating. They say like a dumb person learns from his mistakes, a smart person learns from the mistakes of others. Yes. But at the same time, I don't know, maybe I was dumb, I don't fucking know. Well, clearly I was or whatever, but the pain is the best teacher, essentially.
It is. Absolutely.
You go through the pain, you never forget that lesson.
Agreed.
You catch the lesson from someone else who went through the pain. You may remember it, but you may not. But the one that causes you pain, you'll never forget.
Correct. Who's the smart one?
I don't know.
The one that learns from the other.
You'd like to think it's the one that can learn from other people's mistakes. But at the same time, the person who made the mistake will never make that mistake again.
I know, but there's many more mistakes to make. A wise man learns
let's
from
hurry
other
up and
people's
fail.
mistakes.
Let's hurry up and fail. Let's fail forward because we're gonna make a lot of them. So let's
Yeah, but
fucking
if you
get the
make,
show on the road. If I
can
can't
I
fail, I can't learn.
can I give you
Right?
some coaching from the other side? I agree with what you're saying, but
If I can't
my
fail, I can't learn.
right. But if you fail consistently, you're going to lose.
Wow. The idea is to never make the same mistake twice. That's the goal.
Correct. But my point is, if you learn from other people's mistakes, you don't make a lot of mistakes. If you don't learn from other people's
Hearsay.
mistakes, you're going to make more
Hearsay.
mistakes because you're not learning from other people's mistakes. That is,
Hearsay.
to me, is in the dumb category.
Hearsay.
No, it's not.
I think it's an idealistic view.
If we're on a path doing something,
I think it's an idealistic view. I don't know how realistic that view is.
It's not an idealistic. It's not a nihilist or
It's an idealistic view, as in when it always goes perfectly, then it will go like that. But I don't think it's very realistic. I think there's a lot of hiccups that people will run into because they didn't feel the pain. They didn't feel the fucking pain, so the lesson is not driven home as hard.
You won't make the same mistake twice, typically.
No, there's nothing that says that, but that's the goal.
Typically, you won't make
ideally. Back to ideally.
Back to ideal. The majority of the time, you won't make the same mistake twice.
Right.
Once you went through the pain, you won't do it again.
Right.
My point is, if you learn from other people's mistakes, that's what I pay for coaching. When I pay for coaching, I learn from other people and their mistakes and how they don't make them and they're successful. I only take coaching from people that are successful in the coaching that they're giving me. I've had I told you this, I've had a friend of mine tell me about being married, about how to handle women, and he's been married 5 times. I'm not taking your coaching. I'm sorry. Don't take it. I still love you and you give great advice, but I'm not going to listen because you obviously don't know women. I know women. I've been married 5 times. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
It really is crazy.
There's something I posted a minute ago. I'm gonna find it, but it was so on point with this. It said something about entrepreneurs. Where's that?
Do you know that I learned a neat fact? Here's a factoid for the audience.
Oh, here you go. Here's the number I used to win the lottery, and this is entrepreneurs giving advice. That's so true. It's so true. Here's the numbers I used to win the lottery. All right, your turn.
Here's the numbers. What are you talking about?
Like that's what entrepreneurs do. They give advice about how they did it, but how they did it might no longer apply. So it's like they're giving out the winning lottery numbers that they used to other people. Like, well, this might not work for you because you're not the same person as me. This might not work for you because you don't have the same connections I did. This might not work for you for any number of reasons. They may have pulled the ladder up on this. Regulations may have changed. The whole game may have changed. But I can tell you how I did it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they always pull back a little bit of something. But if they get you on a path,
well, that's kind of the point too. The best thing to take away from it, like here's a model that I know worked, even if it isn't perfect, and even if I have to make changes to it. This is one thing that has worked for somebody, right? That's kind of the best case scenario. But it's just like that. Here's the winning lottery numbers that I used. Here you go.
Well, that's a little bit different.
What do you say? Here's the number I used to win the lottery. Entrepreneurs giving advice.
Is lottery gambling?
Absolutely.
Is somebody that's giving you a systems and process to make money gambling?
Absolutely. Nothing is a sure thing in life.
Decision, and I think one's gambling.
Nothing is a sure thing in life.
I didn't say sure thing.
You said gambling. Gambling is not a sure thing.
Listen.
Like I say, I don't want to gamble. I want to win. I want to play a game I win. I don't want to fucking gamble. Fuck that.
So, if someone gives you a system and process to get you on a path and go in a direction, is that gambling?
Still gambling.
Is that an educated decision?
This is No, it's definitely
Is
not
playing the
random. It's
lottery.
not
Is playing the
random like
lottery.
real gambling.
Is playing the lottery gambling. Those
Yes.
are two totally different things.
But it's not random gambling, but you're still gambling. It's like any business is a gamble. You don't know that any business will work, even if somebody did it before you. Because you don't have
But
the same skills as that person. Like I say, you don't have the same contacts as that person. You don't have the same support team as that person. Maybe you're in a different place of life as that person. It just, maybe you got 6 kids and he had none, and he had all the time to fucking devote to it.
there's two people walking on my dock.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's
Oh
grounds.
no, I know who it is. It's my wife and my son.
Yeah. They're about to end up as fishes.
Nah. Nah.
They'd be swimming with the fishes. They'd be swimming with the fishes.
Swimming with the fishes.
Yeah, yeah. Jimmy be swimming with the fishes later.
Yeah, you almost sound Italian.
Yeah, yeah.
Jimmy the Greek. Well, listen, dude.
Jimmy
It's
the
about
Greek.
that time to bring both the rhythm and the ride. I got mine. You get yours. I want to see sweat come out of your pores.
Sounds good. Sounds good. What is your? Do you have a favorite quote? What is okay? Here's one that I've been thinking about a little bit, and I get hit with every so often. What is the one piece of advice you would give yourself, a younger you?
You're way more powerful than you can imagine.
You feel like you were limited in that way then?
Well,
The self-limiting beliefs?
the self-limiting, I was average. I was average back in the day.
Right.
But if I knew I had the power that I have now, and I'm not talking about physical power, I'm talking, obviously, hey, if somebody told me get a
No,
martial
this
art,
doesn't really apply to physical. This is more of your being, your
mental
psychology,
though,
your beliefs, your that kind of thing.
way more powerful than I could imagine. Way more influential, way more intelligent, way more because
Influence. We come back to influence again.
mhm. So
Tell you.
I have the ability to show people and influence them, like teach martial arts. Everybody said you're my favorite.
Influence.
Everybody, there was a lot of students said you're my favorite teacher. So I was able to influence people relatively easily.
There we
But
go.
the key to influence is authenticity.
Yeah.
That really
Yeah.
is.
Well, it's the old if you want to influence somebody, how do you influence somebody? You let them influence you.
A good point.
It's so on the money. Also a Jocko point, but it's everything. Because how do you become friends with somebody? Well, let them be friendly to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's this whole you gotta give a little to get a little kind of thing.
I'm learning a lot later on in life that I get a lot of listen to people.
A lot of what?
Listening to people. They'll tell you everything you want to know if you just listen to them.
Yeah, I say that one a lot about people. My friend really likes this one because people will rant about, or they'll just say something like, "Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more about yourself." Tell me more about yourself. Oh, this thing happened. Oh, oh, that's how you feel. Tell me more about yourself. What else are you thinking?
What else you thinking?
Yeah, tell me more about yourself. Oh, keep talking. Go ahead. That's a good one. This shuts people up. Well, that's a good one, though.
It is a great
You're
one.
more powerful than you think, huh?
Yeah, I'm way more powerful than I thought I was back in the day.
Right.
Mentally,
Well, if you had known then what you know now, right?
I asked this question on some podcasts. I go, the age you are now, if you take all your experience and all your knowledge and go back to your 20s, what would you do different and what would you do the same?
That's a loaded ass question.
It's a tough one.
Well, even if it's not tough, it's loaded. Like you could pick thing by thing, but like you're talking like large swaths you're trying to figure out, kind of like your psyche shift. You know what it is? It's these paradigm shifts. I am all about some paradigm shifts.
Really?
All about them.
You're all about mentalist.
They're the funnest and coolest shit. You'll just because paradigm is world shifting by definition. It's the things you learn in life that you can no longer go back to the way you used to think.
Mm-hmm.
Like this.
Tinfoil shit.
Shirt. Tinfoil shirt, guy.
So what is it? I like tinfoil shit better, but you kind of went up and fast. I thought it was tinfoil shit, and I like that concept better than tinfoil shirt. The shirt should be look like tinfoil. That would be cool.
Well, that's kind of the play on the. You can't really see it in the whatever, but
in the thing.
Yeah, it's
I see what you're saying. The whole thing should be tinfoil, and then tinfoil.
That'd be funny.
Tinfoil shit, man. That's a great term to.
But this is my tinfoil shirt. Some people have their hats. I got a shirt.
Yeah. Tinfoil shit.
But it's these paradigm shifts, man. It's these
aha moments.
You can't go back to the way you used to live ever again after learning certain things. A little bit, yeah, a little bit. It's the lies you were told as a kid get broken. It's the it's the barriers that you didn't realize didn't exist. Kind of like what happened to you. There was the self-limiting beliefs are bullshit is a big one for me. That's a big paradigm shift that I had a while back. That's why I told you before. The only limits I have are the ones in my mind. That's it.
It's everybody. The only limits that you have in your life are the ones you place in front of you.
Yep. And the sooner you realize that, the better off you'll be.
I agree.
There's a Nietzsche quote that I have as a background on my phone right now. It says, "You are never destroyed by anyone except yourself.
You're your own worst enemy."
That's it. You are in your own way. That's why you don't succeed at whatever it is. You have these excuses built in your mind. You call them reasons, but really, they're excuses.
Agreed.
Yep. That's why I was talking to my friend about this recently. He said, "Why don't you do the thing?" But I got these excuses. I don't know.
Why don't you do the thing? Because you got
it was some other conversation, but yeah.
Well, listen, dude. Unfortunately, I got somebody over right now, so I'm gonna have to let us go. My son came over.
I will say this. Often when people are thinking about advice giving their younger self, almost always it's advice that they could still use to this day.
I'm way more powerful than I think.
Yeah, like even though you've elevated.
That's a very good point. That's a very good
point.
So
good.
That's a very good. That is a very good point.
It's almost the same advice that you need to hear today.
It might even be the advice I need to hear today.
I could give you mine if you're not too busy. Need to go.
I got to get going, but you tell.
Mine, I've noticed over and over. I've made so many posts about it, but you can't make the horse drink water.
No.
That's my biggest one that I've ever I bumped my head against it still. I bumped my head against it my whole goddamn life. And I don't know if it's a man thing. I don't know if it's a human thing, but there's this essentially this thing, like you figure more willpower. That's what'll do it. More willpower. And at times I felt like I had the willpower of a god and couldn't make things happen. And it just mind fucked me. And I was just like, you can't.
It can only mind fuck you if you let it.
You can't make I didn't realize what I was bumping my head against. So it's just, insanity, right? The fucking
Repeating the same action, expecting different
you,
result.
you beat your head against the wall 47 times. On the 48th time, you gotta try something different.
Sounds like a winner, my friend.
Yeah.
You got it. Keep it up.
Yes, sir. We'll catch up, though. Good talking to you.
All right, man. Great talking to y'all. Talk to y'all later.
Out.